You were sitting at the bar of your favorite club, the Colosseum. It was in the more uncivilized district of Camino Ward, though that just meant the nightlife was far more active and lively. Inside the Colosseum, heroes and villains met to mingle. It was said that the legendary hero Hawks once invited a villain here while he had been undercover in a desperate attempt to convince him to stop his affiliations with a very dangerous organization. Though what happened after it was kind of proof that it didn't work. But that was a secret. The Colosseum offered very lightly clothed dancers, music that was so loud it could make your ears bleed, and most importantly, moonshine. The nightclub had somehow managed to gain a license to brew their own alcohol in the establishment's basement. And that's why you were here. Your mutation quirk, strong medicine, required an almost consistent alcohol intake. Your quirk manifested in the form of leaves that grew out of your head instead of hair. Plucking them and either eating them or drinking them in the form of tea had various effects. Over time and some trial and error, you realized that alcohol made your leaves produce a powerful healing effect. So, whenever you were off duty, you spent most of your time drinking. Thankfully, your quirk also didn't make you drunk, so you could drink longer and could only drink for taste. So everything was a-okay. You weren't addicted or anything. The moonshine sold in the Colosseum had various flavors you couldn't get anywhere else, going from simple blueberry to a strange concoction of orange, coconut, melon, and banana. That one was absolutely vile, as it just tasted really sweet to the point of making you feel sick. But it sold really well, especially among younger heroes. But taste was not only important to you, but also to the people who needed to eat your leaves. So you tried a wide variety of flavors. Honestly, that was the most fun bit about your quirk. And the fact you always walked around with multiple flasks of alcohol. You were leaning back a bit, had turned to the dance floor. It was fun seeing who danced with who, since in this place villains and heroes were treated equally. There were some interesting pair-ups. For one, you could clearly see the taping hero Cellophane dance with Miss Mosquito, a villain who was quite well known for being a talented thief and temptress. You smirked. If the hero didn't watch out, she'd suck him dry in more than one way. The loud clang of a glass behind you made you jolt. You quickly turned around. The barkeeper, a large man everyone just lovingly called Walter, as he was a migrant from America, had just brought you your next drink. He too had a mutation quirk, so there was a silent respect the two of you shared among each other. Though his mutation was more severe. His skin was blue and incredibly fragile and soft. A couple of red fuzzy antennas stuck out of his cheeks. He was basically a human axolotl. He gruffed a quiet "enjoy" before tending to his next customer. Your eyes followed him, then you immediately blushed. His next customer, it was your old high school flame, Deku, the current number 2 hero of Japan. You gulped and made yourself just a tiny bit more smaller. Maybe he hasn't seen you yet. He looked a bit gloomy today. Was something wrong? Last thing you heard from him was his marriage to Uravity. Trouble in paradise? Biting your lower lip, you took your glass of moonshine with both hands. Thanks to your quirk, it wouldn't give you any liquid courage, but you could certainly try. Once your glass was empty, though, calling for Walter would definitely give your position away. It took you a couple of minutes of deliberation until finally you jumped off the chair to sit down next to Deku. At first you didn't say anything, as he was too focused on his own glass. Hey Deku, it's been a while. Your heart was racing as you said that. The man blinked. Hey, Shaman, correct? You blinked, confused. I had a name change. There are too many heroes with that name. You chuckled awkwardly. I'm now Witch Doctor. Deku's eyes lit up and he smiled. Okay then. How long has it been? He leaned back a bit. 4 years, 6 months. Quietly you added. And 14 days. This got you a look from him. How? 4 years and 6 months. Have you been counting? You tapped your fingers together awkwardly. If only he knew. So, what are you doing here? You wanted to facepalm yourself. Dumb question. Drinking, he said. Just drinking. You smirked. Sounds gloomy. What's wrong? You can tell me. You hoped acting so chipper made it seem like you were a little bit tipsy, so you could speak more freely. I don't... He stopped mid-sentence. So far he had told his therapist, who suggested going here. But should he tell you? That's what he was wondering. He gave you an unsure smile. How about you pay for our next round and then I'll consider. Smirking, you ordered 2 drinks. It took Deku a while to speak up again, but that was okay. You had been patient for a very long time, so what did a few minutes matter now? It's just... the situation I find myself in is quite complex. Are you sure you want me to... drama dump? He blinked in response. Yes, drama dump. On you. Go ahead, Izuku. He sighed and took a deep swig of his glass. Slamming it down, he began explaining. Me and Uraraka have issues, or more. I have an issue with her. You nodded patiently. She's recently gotten on this esoteric hype train. You may have noticed in the media, she has been talking about astrology, hand reading, and the importance of finding yourself. Ugh. You blushed a little. Admittedly, yes, you even owned an Uravity brand oil candle. It was a multi-layered candle that the further down it burned, the more scents would mix together. It was quite nice, actually. Well, as it turns out, finding yourself means making mistakes. He huffed. What mistakes? You know, mistakes young people make. Like partying. Recklessly doing things that normally warrant preparations and safety gear. Partying and drinking and partying, and he stopped talking and sniffled. And? Cheating. You blinked. Did he seriously just say that? Wait, what do you mean? He sighed. Ugh. Right now there are 3 men in our apartment alone with her, and she kicked me out. So she can find herself. You blushed, feeling a mix of anger and frustration boiling inside you. She says she wants to experience life. Since we were together since high school, obviously she never got to experience the joys of being 20 and drinking and... Ugh, worst of all, his head sunk. Worst of all is that my agency wants us to do this for monetary gains because it looks so progressive and... Get what I mean? After a moment of silence, you spoke up. So, what is everyone expecting from you now? He shrugged. If she and your agency want an open marriage, as an excuse for her to find herself, what a joke, you should embrace it. He looked at you with his brows furrowed. Explain. Smirking, you leaned forward and kissed him, his lips tasting like the raspberry moonshine he had been drinking. Even though your lips only barely touched, it felt like you achieved a decade-long life goal. Man, it felt great. I can't do this, he muttered. I mean, she's doing this. Arguably worse, you whispered into his ear. Pay her back by doing the same thing to her. But that's mean. You kissed him again, this time more forcefully, and his hands found your hips. He was really getting into it. Good. It's not cheating when it's an open relationship. You ran your eyes seductively. His heart jumped. I didn't know you felt this way towards me. That's because you were too focused on her to realize how much of a head-turner you really are. He blushed hard, his heart skipping a beat. A lot of things in his past, especially at UA, started making sense now. What now? I'm so nervous. You're coming with me. And whatever we end up doing, we do it until your terrible wife calls you wondering where you are. This is how your relationship with Izuku Midora truly started. It was 6 weeks into your fling, however, when he rang your doorbell, suddenly, completely unprepared. Thankfully, you had taken the day off for a self-care day. Safe to say he was rolling with laughter as he saw you open the door with your face covered with a coal mask. You let him in despite his amusement. You gave him a tea brewed from your hair and returned to the bathroom. Before the door, the two of you were having a conversation. So, what are you doing here? You asked as you washed away the coal. She kicked me out. He chuckled darkly, his back pressed against your bathroom door. Oh, why's that? He shrugged, even though you didn't see it. Well, as it turns out, her having fun finding herself is nice and good, but me having fun, well, that's bad. You groaned. Anyways, we are now officially going to stay married. You know, for the cameras, but privately, we are... I am, single. Yes, I'm single, unofficially. You smirked and undid the knot of the bathrobe you were wearing. With a smug smile, you began filling your bathtub with hot water. You're the first person I turned to when this happened. You chuckled. Ugh, I was hoping you'd do that. I'm glad. You added some cherry-scented soap to the water before opening the bathroom door. Grabbing Deku by the collar of his shirt, you pulled him inside the steamy bathroom. Then let's have some lovey-dovey couple time together, shall we? You whispered before gently pressing your lips onto his. Hey, thank you for watching my video until the end. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and watch a few more. But before I say goodbye, I'd like to remind you to like the video and subscribe. That really helps the YouTube algorithm. That's all. Hope you have a good day. Until next time. Bye!